What's going on, everyone? Uh, it's the 2 weeks. 2 weeks are up. It's time to post a video. Here I am. So, I've been having a really good time. Really good time with payouts from Top Step. And honestly, there's a lot of things that I've learned in the past year and the year before that and the year before that. Trading prop firms for about 4.5 years before finally finding something that works for me specifically. So I just wanted to walk you through basically on some of the things and the metrics that I have, just to give you guys a better understanding of what exactly it takes for us to get consistent payouts. Now, I did end up blowing up two of my XFAs a week the week before in one day after trading pretty meticulously for 3 weeks. I had all my balances above 3.2k, and it was just two accounts, so I was eligible for about $3,000 last week, but I kind of shit the bed a little bit, over traded like a madman, and just ended up blowing it up. So, and that's part of the game, right? Part of basically the prop firm history. You know, get a funded account, blow it up, or get a combine, blow it up, combine, then funded account, then blow up, and it's just like a very repetitive process um, that I'm trying to avoid overall. So what's working for me is cutting my losses quickly, and basically even if it's like more than my actual reward, sometimes I'll take the loss and just call it, and maybe potentially even wait even more. So here's one of the things that I notice with myself is that when I trade, I really love to make a lot of money, right? Like I would love to make 1,500, 2 grand, 3 grand a day, if I could. But every time I put myself in that state of mind, I don't take the profits where I need to, right? So a lot of the trades that I take actually end up not really efficiently moving in the direction that I want it to go. And will most of the time sweep me out before I could actually realize the full profit. So as long as I kind of understand that dynamic, that sweeps will happen. It'll take me out before it realizes my full potential for the trade. Sometimes I'll even take like one trade and just be done with it, because I know that what I have now. If the momentum isn't exactly going the way that I want it to right away, I have to get out. You know, and I'm not gonna let it go against my trade anytime soon. I know that a lot of people don't really think that's the right way of trading, but I also realize that $500 a day for a whole year ends up being about 100 grand, right? So I should be happy with what I get out of the markets, and eventually over a longer period of time, I'll be able to compound it and then take bigger amounts of risk, and have larger amounts of reward, right? As your account grows, you also grow the amount of your size, right? So right now, my account size is small. It's only about 2 grand. My goal is to basically grow my account, and when it becomes over 10 grand, then I can maybe potentially move up my size a little bit more, according to my account. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make, right? When trading, especially NASDAQ or silver futures, is the sizing component, right? You got to build your account first before you actually start committing to larger amounts of size, right? Because if you end up messing up one trade of, let's say, for example, 5 minis of $367.80, that's very hard to come back to. You know what I mean? It really messes up your account. You have, limited drawdown space. And from that point on, it's like you only have like one trade left. If you lost about 70 to 80% of your balance, immediately what's going to happen is that your brain is going to be telling you, you know what, fuck it. I only have like $400 of drawdown left. Let's just use 5 minis and try to make it all back. And that's like the mentality that, I noticed for myself is I kept going in that cycle over and over and over again, that, you know, I got tired of that like of that kind of like thing that I kept coming back on. Sorry. Yeah, I just kept I got tired of that, you know? I got so tired of me constantly breaking my uh, risk management rules. And risk management is something that a lot of people overlook. We talk about it all the time, but we don't make the consistent efforts to maintain that, right? So I'm going to show you the best way that you can do to basically maintain yourself from breaking your rules consistently. And it really, people say that, it's a psychological thing in trading, and you have to be very consistent with that so that you become more profitable and consistent with the routine that you have. It's so true. I broke my rules almost all the time last year, but over time, I've also started building consistency by only working on one account at a time, right? Something for myself that worked was that I actually went from, five accounts, maybe 10, maybe 15 to 20 accounts to one account. And then once I managed to basically grow my combine, whether it's 150K or the 50K, and I managed to grow my account on a weekly basis or a bi weekly basis or even like 3 week basis, growing my 150K account up to an 8K balance, that's when I knew that I am potentially ready to have a proper account where I can take consistent payouts, right? That's something that stuck to me ever since I swapped over to one account. And I think you guys should try the same too. Honestly, if you guys are struggling on having to get paid out consistently, try doing less. Even for example, my friend, like he got like a $12,000 payout last month, and I'm not sure, but he might have just like blew out his entire balance of 12K and just flushed it down the drain because from what I've seen, he's been blowing up his accounts very consistently after that big payout for that month. So I asked him to slow it down. He didn't want to slow it down. He didn't believe in it. I, I think it's okay for everyone to have their own opinion to things. So I'm not gonna argue about it. But yeah, you guys should try it out. Swap down, slow it down, 1 to 2 accounts, and you will see how incredible of a difference it is to have your mind be in the right spot when you're taking trades, right? Maybe even work with 2 accounts. So for myself, I have 2 accounts right now. I got this one and then I got another one. So I'm building my account up very gradually. And you know what? I'm switching between the two. I'm not trading them at the same time. I am taking more trades, of course, but I am taking it in a very consistent pattern. For one account, I use it to trade silver. The other account, use it to trade Nasdaq, right? And then I basically go between the two, checking both charts to find the best opportunities for myself. I'm a very fidgety person. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD, and my mind is all over the place. So what I do best is that I have to filter myself through different channels so that I become more focused on something that I see that works for me, right? I'm not gonna take a trade where um, on Nasdaq if it starts chopping sideways, because it's chopping and it doesn't make sense for me to trade that if it's not in the right environment, right? So I'll look at other tickers just to identify if there's a good bull trend, a bearish trend forming on silver, if Nasdaq is chopping, right? And it's a very efficient method of keeping your away from chop. You got to trade other tickers, right? And you got to make sure you find the ones with the highest amount of volume because the more volume there is, the better it is for you in terms of finding a proper momentum trade, right? I always want to trade with momentum. I don't want to trade with chop, you know? So sometimes there is an opportunity in Nasdaq, sometimes there isn't. But more often, Nasdaq has been, getting a little bit harder at these highs. So I started opening my horizon of different ticker symbols to trade. I recommend that not as a financial advice, but to look at other tickers as well because sometimes one pair won't work out, but the other will. Right? Same idea with even stocks, right? People don't just look at one stock, they look at multiple different stocks, right? If one doesn't show the pattern that they want, they move on to the next stock. And it's a very common thing that a lot of people go through. Some people also trade only SPY, right? But from my knowledge of watching so many YouTubers out there and people that trade stocks especially, I have not seen a single person that is doing well trading only one ticker symbol, especially for stocks. And the same idea goes for NASDAQ, ES, whatever it may be. I think it's a great idea to branch out. Anyways, moving forward. So on this account, I'm going to use this one as a perfect example. I had basically an average win loss of 0.74, which obviously is not that great in terms of risk to reward. But at the end of the day, I always look to lock in my reward over my risk, right? I will take a trade on risk and have a proper stop loss. And whenever I feel comfortable with the profits that I have for the day, I will just lock it out after I take the W, right? So on this account, I'm at a 6.68 profit factor. My average win duration is 41 seconds, which is not long, right? It's literally, you know, more than 10 seconds, and I'm making between $273 to $721 a trade, right? My worst trade is $367.80, which this account only has one loss, and it was using NASDAQ, and I took that loss on January 14th. So we're gonna take a look at that afterwards to see what um, I took a loss from in a minute. But yeah, I have one that's under 15, other 15.45, 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes, and 2 to 5 minutes. And this account is primarily trading Nasdaq and silver, right? And I give myself even opportunities to take scalps. I'll even go break even with my trades because I'm not willing to lose anymore, right? If I'm in a winning position and I see momentum on my side, and by momentum I mean like a big green bar, I will never let the trade come back to me, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm looking to make money. I'm not looking to lose money, right? A lot of the times you can also take a trade. Sometimes it won't go in the direction of your favor right away, but when it starts going in your direction and you see the momentum coming through, you definitely want to consider, especially if you're a type of trader that gets emotional off of losses. I would even recommend just going break even. And if you take a break even trade and then momentum goes in the direction without you again, then so be it. You know what I mean? You just have to wait for the next opportunity. And that's something that I've been doing consistently enough so that I don't feel the pain of losing, right? So waiting is the biggest factor to trading. It's really not anything else. People, I realize that now is that, my trades might be 15, 45, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute trades, but I am incredibly patient. I am incredibly patient now than I was before, right? For example, over here, 6 p.m., I took two trades, silver and Nasdaq. This was 6 p.m. open, so that's a different thing, right? I usually am not jumping into trades right at 6 p.m., but this time around, I saw an opportunity and I took it, so that's why it's like that. But over here, we have 6:32 a.m., right? It's in the morning. I woke up, I took one trade thinking it would look good. I didn't. Look, next trade after that within the same day, three three different trades, right? Same day, 7 o'clock. Next trade I took after that was 7:15. So I'm waiting at least 14 to 15 minutes per trade, right? If I don't get the trade that I want, look, I'm waiting literally 30 minutes for my next trade, you know? So that's something that I've been doing consistently, right? Always waiting and letting the trade come to you, not the other way around where you're chasing the trade just because you see it go without you, right? Same idea over here. Um, Same idea over here. 8 o'clock, 8:31. 5 minutes later, one last trade, right? Just scalps. But even with these scalps, I ended up having a $2,000 balance, right? And this is over 5 days. This is pretty good. I might take a payout or I trade for the rest of the week and I take a payout from then. Um, but in any case, I am super, super happy with the results that I have for myself for this week, for last week as well as this week. So I'm gonna try my best to trade here and then make that back. But yeah, we can take a back look on the 14th. By the way, for risk settings, two Nasdaq, one silver, and then for my other accounts, two silver, one Nasdaq, and that's what I do for this account because that's like what I like to trade basically. Um, so yeah, on the 14th, right, where I took that loss was just right here. I think, yeah, I took a loss somewhere here. This right here. So 750, 750. I put right. I'm not entirely sure where that loss came from. Oh yeah, it's right here. Right at the 8:30 news. I think I had a short position and then I got stopped out right here somewhere. I'm not entirely sure. Let's double check. What time was it? 6 o'clock. Um, 18. I don't. Oh yeah, it's right here. I don't know what happened there. To be honest with you, because that's 4 o'clock. I didn't. I don't usually take trades at 4 o'clock, so that's kind of weird to me. Oh yeah, right. I took a short. Right, I took a short expecting this low to get taken out. That low never got taken out, and I had my stop loss just right at the highs here, just around here. I decided to take the loss early because I didn't want it to basically go beyond and sweep me out at the highs. So in this instance, I wasn't that patient, but I didn't really like the idea that we had a big engulfing candle after this large selling candle. So I decided to cut my loss while I had it. Um, that is an instance of basically the proper risk management rules, right? You have to look at the candles to identify whether it's, good or bad. And if you see a big green candle, I would definitely not consider taking shorts. I would look for longs along the way, right? So, um, and what else? I think that's it for now, to be honest with you. This count doesn't really have that much information, but yeah, I had a really solid, 3 weeks prior to this. 3 weeks, literally 15 days of trading. And my balance was sitting at 3K, and I somehow blew it up on silver, but that's okay. And I moved forward from it. I learned my mistake and I moved forward. At the end of the day, we have to move forward as traders. We cannot keep on looking at our past mistakes. And all you can really do is identify your loss, why you took that loss, and figure out what your trigger was. And yeah, from there, that will help you basically spiral forward with trading. But you know, that was my update. This one's 3.3K balance. I'm taking a payout this week, and yeah. If you guys want, feel free to leave a comment. Like the video, subscribe if you guys like the content I provide and the explanation. This time around, I didn't really explain much, so I just wanted to update y'all on how I'm doing. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one.